is going on, guys? Pretty chill slate, to be honest. We already got the Miami Heat news, so we're kind of chilling for the rest of the night. Not really looking for too much. Should be pretty straightforward. I condensed the sheet as much as I possibly could. I think that it's pretty obvious the routes you should be going today, but appreciate you guys being here on a Saturday. Again, guys, I'm here every single day. Saturday, Sunday, doesn't matter. If you guys could drop a like, subscribe, we'll be really appreciative of that. If we can get to, okay, so my goal for my earlier video was 8 likes. If we can get up to 9 likes in this video, 9 likes, I'll continue to do this every day. All I need is 9 likes. If I don't get 9 likes, kind of in question on my how much I'm gonna do this moving forward. Would over first half? That was a good comment. Yeah, I forgot to reply to you, or I saw that right as lock ended up happening. But yeah, without Kevin Porter Jr., like going with those first half props in games that I think that could possibly blow out. And that's the case with a lot of these Houston Rockets games. They're actually winning with 5 minutes left. Knicks not that good this year. Not nearly as good as they were last year. The Thunder will start Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, Darius Bazley, and Derek Favors. So no Jeremiah Robinson-Earl in the starting lineup today. Going with Derek Favors, coming off a rest day. Man, I'm feeling real chill today. We will get to 9 likes. Really appreciate the support, guys. Okay, let's go over some of the games. We did just get some news with the Miami Heat. Actually, let me make sure on the Tyler Hero. Remember in my head, Tyler Hero was active. I know Bam Adebayo is for sure good to go, and center is a very, very weak position today. So I'm gravitating towards a ton of Bam Adebayo. Again, he kind of underperformed last game against the Washington Wizards, but the Wizards still remain the #1 front court matchup in the entire NBA. So I'm going to go back to the well with Bam Adebayo with how weak center is today. And if people feel like they were burned last time and are going to avoid Bam, maybe that lowers some ownership, and that is 100% okay with me. So yeah, Tyler Hero is indeed active. Let's just start from the top, guys. All right, guys, we will start up top with the Miami Heat versus the Washington Wizards. A 208 over under. The Heat are currently 1-point favorites, so it should be a close game, close and competitive with Washington being at home. The Miami Heat, they are going to be without Victor Oladipo and Markieff Morris. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero are healthy. I mean, dude, Nikola Jokic must be the strongest man in the world. If tough boy Markieff Morris is out for just like 6-7 games after getting pushed, I mean, it's pretty incredible. How strong Nikola Jokic is, I guess. So yeah, I mean, question the toughness of the Morris twins right about now. The Miami Heat, so yeah, with everybody healthy, I typically steer away from teams that are healthy, but Bam Adebayo is in such a good spot right here at 8,500. Center is one of the weakest positions on the slate. The Washington Wizards are the #1 matchup in the league for front court, so I love Bam Adebayo here. Kind of underperformed in their first game not too long ago, a couple days ago. So I'm going to go back to the well with Bam Adebayo. Hopefully that lowers his ownership on the Washington side. They are going to be without Thomas Bryant, Rui Hachimura, Davis Bertans, and then Daniel Gafford was questionable, missed last game, but he is indeed active today. But, last game he was ruled in and then ruled out like 30 minutes later. So, I mean, maybe that situation is a bit murkier than we should expect. If he were to be ruled out for any reason, Montrezl Harrell would become a lock for me at 6,500. But with this team being healthy, not really considering anybody on the Washington Wizards. Move over to the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Indiana Pacers at 208 over under. The Pacers are currently 7-point favorites. If we can get up to 10 likes today, I'll let you guys know what the playlist is. Zion Williamson and Devontae Graham are both out. So we saw this situation not too long ago. Tomas Satoransky ended up starting for Devontae Graham. He played 25 minutes, but it was Kyra Lewis coming off the bench who did all of the work. He ended up playing 23 minutes. in a competitive game, put up 33.5 fantasy points. He shot well. Don't really expect him to shoot that well again, but when he is on the court, he's going to be shooting. So at bare minimum, if you need a flyer guy at the bare minimum, I think you could do much worse than Kyra Lewis. So without them, I like Jonas Valanciunas. 9,200 is a steep price tag for him, especially when I can get Bam Adebayo for $700 cheaper. But on FanDuel at $8,000, I mean, that is an abysmal price tag for Jonas Valanciunas. He should be playing pretty big minutes here. And then Brandon Ingram, I think, gets a pretty significant assist rate boost with no Devontae Graham. Him and Devontae Graham really split down the middle the assist opportunities. So without him and being replaced by Tomas Satoransky, who does like to dish it, I still think it is a significant enough boost for Brandon Ingram to be considered an A-tier play today. And then Josh Hart, I mean, he's playing mid to high 30s minutes. He's playing 38 minutes in a ton of these games. Now you take Devontae Graham out of the equation, so he's going to continue to be out there for an extended amount of time. So I love him at $5,100. On the Indiana Pacers side, they are relatively healthy. TJ Warren is out, and then we just got word that Chris Duarte is active today. So this team is pretty much at full strength, but the Pelicans are the second worst defense in the league in terms of defensive rating. So it is a very, very good matchup for them. Only a 7-point spread, so I'm expecting this game to stay close. And actually, I don't think the Pacers are that good. So the Pelicans are awful, but the Pacers could blow them out, I suppose, but I'm not really expecting that here. If you want anybody from this Indiana side, it's probably going to be Malcolm Brogdon for me, but outside of that, I'm not really considering much from the Pacers. Move over to the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Boston Celtics at 207 over under. The Celtics are currently 10-point favorites. The Thunder have no injuries. Derek Favors is returning from his absence last game due to rest. He is in the starting lineup. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is coming off the bench, so I'm kind of off of JRE here at 3,400. Just because, the minutes are going to be relatively split now, and they'll play other guys. They'll play Poku at the 5-2. So if he's not in the starting lineup, I'm not really considering him. Not that he was very viable anyways. If you do think that this game stays competitive, which it is a 10-point spread, so in Boston, so this game could get out of hand. If you think that this game stays close, I think Lugan Dort is a very good play at 5,000. His shooting came back to earth last game. But the volume was still there. So if he's going to continue to chuck in these competitive games, $5,000 is entirely too cheap for Lu Dort. Just know that there is blowout risk in this game. Move over to the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown is out, and so is Robert Williams. So without Jaylen Brown, that takes a ton of usage off the court, and is going to be transferred to guys like Jason Tatum, Dennis Schroeder. I think both of them are really, really strong plays today, as specifically Jason Tatum, specifically Dennis Schroeder over on FanDuel, where he's $5,800. That is a crazy price tag. Now he gets a revenge narrative against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not much. I don't know how much revenge there is there, because I'd much rather be in Boston than in OKC. And then Al Horford gets a significant bump with no Robert Williams. I'm not considering him at $7,600 over on Draftkings, but he is $7,000 over on FanDuel, where you get 3 points for steals and blocks, and he gets a ton of those. So a much better play over on FanDuel, much better play over here on Prize Picks, where he's still at 31 fantasy points. I would expect him to get much higher than 31 fantasy points here. So I love the over on Al Horford if you want to tail that. And I'm still on the over on Clint Capella, 32 fantasy points as well. I think pairing those two is the strongest way to go in NBA today in terms of price picks. If you guys want to tail me over here, use code Taylor, TAYLOR, for a 100% match bonus up to $100. But yeah, really focusing in on Jason Tatum and Dennis Schroeder over here on DraftKings. It also is worth mentioning that Josh Richardson should continue to be in the closing lineup. He's been playing around 30 minutes a game without Robert Williams, or whenever Dennis Schroeder was out, or specifically Jaylen Brown. And he is only $3,200. There is a ton of good value plays today. If you want a secondary contrarian option, Josh Richardson is squarely in play, and he's going to be severely overlooked. Move over to the Charlotte Hornets versus the Atlanta Hawks. PJ Washington is out, so that secures the minutes in the role of Mason Plumlee. They will need his size against Clint Capella, who's going to be out there for like 34 minutes. They like playing small, but they can't really get away with that against Clint Capella. So Mason Plumlee's going to have to play a ton, and he's only $4,600. Wouldn't play him in cash, but a great tournament option today. And then LaMelo Ball, we heard comments from him a couple weeks ago, with him complaining about his minutes and how he wants to play more. And ever since then, he's been playing high 30s minutes, and he does deserve this 10.4K price tag. He has shown his upside over and over and over again. And he's playing an Atlanta Hawks defense who has the worst half-court defense in the entire NBA. So it suits well for a guy like LaMelo Ball who likes to dish it, facilitate the offense. If he's going to continue to play minutes this big, he's a great tournament option. I do prefer like Tatum and Lillard for a little bit cheaper, but in tournaments, LaMelo Ball is going to be very, very low owned. He's kind of in a weird range right now. So I do like him, not considering anybody else on the Charlotte Hornets team. Move over to the Atlanta Hawks. DeAndre Hunter and Onyeka Okongwu are both out in this game. So without DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter is going to continue to start. In all of these games he started, he's played 39, 30, 33, 16, and 32. The only reason he played 16 minutes in this game was because he got injured in the first half, didn't play the second half, but he was on pace to play 32 minutes. So $3,800 for a guy that plays guard and forward, so a lot of flexibility to get him into your lineups. He's going to play 30-plus minutes in a good matchup against the Charlotte Hornets. It's just really hard for me to not get some exposure to Kevin Huerter. Dennis Schroeder officially available to play. He popped up on the injury report with an ankle injury as probable, but he is officially available to play. Should be good to go today. And then I think Clint Capella is more of a secondary option. If you want to go down from Bam to Clint Capella, I am 100% fine with that. If you can use that money elsewhere. Move over to the Orlando Magic versus the Milwaukee Bucks. A 215.5 over under. The Bucks are currently. Actually, let me look what the new line is on this Bucks game, because I have not updated that since Cole Anthony was ruled out. I don't know how much it actually moved the line. So they moved from 11.5 point dogs to 12.5 point dogs. So some severe blowout risk in this game, with the Bucks being 12.5 point favorites. The Magic are going to be without Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Etuan Moore, Michael Carter-Williams, and now Cole Anthony. So without Cole Anthony, I was already on Jalen Suggs coming into this slate with Cole Anthony being healthy, because he did have the second highest usage, the second highest assist percentage just behind Cole Anthony, but Cole Anthony is now ruled out. So Suggs should continue to have the highest usage and assist percentage while he is out there on the court. He played 32 minutes yesterday in a competitive game because he was actually playing well, wasn't turning the ball over as much as he usually does. So even if this game blows out, I think through 3 quarters, Jalen Suggs is cheap enough to get it done, especially with his production. So I do like him quite a bit. Hold up one second, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, from the Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs is probably a core play for me over here on Draftkings, specifically in cash games. I think Franz Wagner is in a similar range here. I think his usage should be on the rise without Cole Anthony. He has been creating his shot a lot more than we've seen as usual. Gary Harris, RJ Hampton should receive a couple extra minutes, but not really in consideration for me. If I were to choose any of these super cheap guys from Orlando, it's Terrence Ross, just because I know that in the past he has shot a lot. I mean, not too long ago, he shot 14, 19, 15 times. You give him some extra minutes, take some usage away from Cole Anthony. Terrence Ross is definitely in play at $3,400. More of a tournament option for me, but the upside is very, very high for Terrence Ross. Very, very volatile play today. But at $3,400, it's really easy for him to pay off that price tag. Move over to the Milwaukee Bucks. They are going to be without Brook Lopez, Dante DiVincenzo, and Rodney Hood. Severe blowout risk, like I mentioned, so not really considering Giannis, Middleton, Holiday is also the second leg of a back-to-back, so maybe they scale back the minutes of a guy like Chris Middleton, who's just now coming back from injury. Not really considering anybody from the Bucks side. Move over to the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. A 220 over under. The Timberwolves are 2.5 point favorites. The Grizzlies are going to be without DeAnthony Melton, Sam Merrill, and Dylan Brooks is doubtful. So I'm not expecting Dylan Brooks here. So that is going to open up a ton of minutes. It secures the minutes of Desmond Bane. Even with Dylan Brooks back, it didn't hurt Desmond Bane at all from a minute standpoint. He was always going to play 30 to 32 minutes. But his usage would come down because Dillon Brooks does demand such a large usage. Dillon Brooks had like a 30% usage since returning this year. And then his direct backup was DeAnthony Melton. So when Dillon Brooks came back into the starting lineup, Melton went to the bench and his minutes got very, very hurt. So now we're taking away one spot in the starting lineup and then the direct backup for there. So the Grizzlies luckily are a very flexible team. So I'm expecting Kyle Anderson to enter the starting lineup. I'm interested to see who actually is in the starting lineup. I'm expecting it to be Kyle Anderson here. And so Kyle Anderson and Desmond Bane are two of the best plays on the entire slate. I absolutely love them today. Good matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Should be a close game, and both of them are pretty good per minute producers, specifically Kyle Anderson. And Kyle Anderson, you have small forward, power forward eligibility, so it's really easy to get him into your lineups. Really the only two guys from this team that are worth playing. There is an off chance that Zaire Williams ends up starting, but that wouldn't really deter me off of getting off of Kyle Anderson. I think he's a very good play. Desmond Bane's going to start. Kyle Anderson, the only questionable guy to start, I guess, but I would give him like an 80% chance to start. Move over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Naz Reid is questionable, but leaning towards playing. So with him returning, Karl-Anthony Towns, he has been playing his ceiling minutes lately, 38, 37, 40 minutes. With Naz Reid coming back, and then with them being very comfortable with Naz Reid being out there on the court, Karl-Anthony Towns' minutes are surely going to take a hit. He's probably going to be back down in that 33, 34 minute range, which is enough minutes for him to get it done against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are the worst team in the entire NBA in terms of defensive rating. So Karl-Anthony Towns, a tournament option for me. With this team being relatively healthy and so many other teams on this slate not being healthy, I'm not getting to all that much of Karl-Anthony Towns, but he's definitely in play. And then Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, more secondary plays for me. But again, this matchup is very, very good. If I'm playing anybody from the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's probably going to be Patrick Beverley. He's constantly on pace to play 32 to 34 minutes, and he has been very good on a per minute basis. His role in this team is just a lot different than what we've seen in previous years. $4,700 is still probably too cheap for Patrick Williams with his current role and how many minutes he's playing. Again, this game is only a 2.5 point spread, so this game should play close and close enough for Patrick Beverley to get those minutes. Move over to the Utah Jazz versus the Sacramento Kings. A 221.5 over under. The Jazz are currently 8-point favorites. The Jazz have no injuries. Rudy Gay played for the first time last game, ended up playing 18 minutes off the bench. Not considering Rudy Gay, but it is worth mentioning that he kind of eats into some of these backup guys' minutes like Joe Ingles. But I'm not really in Terrence Forrest. I'm not really considering anybody from this team. If I were, it would be tournament only, like maybe Donovan Mitchell or Jordan Clarkson, just because they do demand such a high usage. I mean, Mitchell is around a 35% usage rating this year. It is a good matchup against the Kings. And then Donovan Mitchell, about a 28% usage coming off the bench. And if both these guys get hot, I mean, the ceiling is through the roof right now. So I don't mind these guys in tournaments, not really considering them in cash. And on the Kings side, I'm really not considering anybody. It's obviously a very, very tough matchup against the Utah Jazz. Chimezie Metu, this is his last game that he was promised to start. A couple games ago, they promised him 2 more starting gigs. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their power forward position. They're even giving Marvin Bagley minutes. And he was completely out of the rotation. So they're kind of just testing things out right now. Maybe they give him a more extended run today since this is the last game they promised him to start. He's played anywhere from 25 to 32 minutes in his starting gig. So I don't mind him. More of a secondary option, not really considering anybody else on that team. Move over to the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Portland Trailblazers. A 217 over under. The Trailblazers are currently 6-point favorites. The Sixers are going to be without Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Danny Green, and then Matisse Thybulle is now available to play. So with Matisse Thybulle being back, that really ruins the value of guys like Milton, Korkmaz, Niang, because these guys were really good plays for a long time just because of how shorthanded they were. But now with Matisse Thybulle coming back, this guy could play 30 minutes coming back from injury. I'm not really considering any of the values. If I'm considering anybody, it's Tobias Harris. This matchup against the Portland Trailblazers is infinitely better than the matchups he's been getting lately. I mean, his last 2 games have been against the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Just not good situations. I think this game should play close. And I think Tobias Harris, he has led this team in usage by far since returning. I think he is set up to be in a really good spot. I like him a lot more on I like him at 8,100 over here on Draftkings, but on FanDuel he's 7,500, has small forward and power forward eligibility. Like him a lot more over there. Then on the Trailblazers side, they have no injuries. Damian Lillard looks completely fine with that abdominal injury that he apparently has had for the last several years. So a great matchup for him against the Philadelphia 76ers with how weak they are right now defensively. He is only $9,100. I don't really understand this price. The volume has been there the last 6-7 games, and the efficiency has been there as well. So, if you can get 45-50 points out of him, which I think is definitely doable in this matchup, $9,100 is entirely too cheap for Damian Lillard. But yeah, we're really not waiting on any news. So we have 38 minutes left. I might cut this stream short, so I'll get to as many questions as I possibly can. If things start slowing down, I might head out of here a bit early today. Got some plans tonight. It is Saturday night, so no in-game showdown if you guys play that with me, but we can definitely get into some questions right now. Pretty straightforward slate. But yeah, appreciate you guys being here. If you guys enjoy this content, find any of this information useful at all, would really appreciate it if you guys could drop a like. Let's try to get to 9 likes. I can't see the likes right now, so if we're not at 9, let's try to get to 9 likes. And I'm trying to get a new subscriber every video and every stream. So if one of you guys could subscribe, that would mean the absolute world to me. I'm trying to get to 60 by the end of this month, and then hopefully I can get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Bane or Herter? Definitely Bane. Tape block for Saf over. Nice, man. Kira Lewis in play tonight. I do think Kira Lewis is in play. Devontae Graham is out. Tomas Satoransky I'm expecting to start again, but more of a spot start. I think Kira Lewis could get similar minutes off the bench, and he's going to be a lot more active than Satoransky. Wagner or Bane. Yeah, that's tough. I probably lean Bane just because Wagner does have blowout risk there. What's going on, Tone? Plus 7.5 Charlotte seems like way too many points. I agree. I definitely agree. The Hawks have been really bad this year. Really bad. And the Hornets have been, you can't tell me the Hawks have been 7.5 points better than the Hornets this year. That's just not true. Favorite game stack on the slate for tournaments? Yeah, from both... Getting players from both sides, it's probably the Charlotte-Atlanta game because LaMelo Ball, I think, is a really good tournament option. And then you could bring it back with Clint Capella, Kevin Huerter, or Trae Young. I think Trae Young is a good play in his own right. 109 likes. Oh, that's quite a bit more than 9. You think Triple J at the 5 a bit more in this high-paced game, at least more in the second half? In the matchup last time, so they're obviously really comfortable with playing Jaren Jackson at the 5 over Steven Adams. You would imagine, logically thinking, that they would want to play Steven Adams against Jonas Valanciunas. But the last time they played, he only ended up playing 19 minutes, and they just ended up going with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark. So, yeah, could definitely see Jaren Jackson. And they know that they are a better team. Zach Taylor has already mentioned that they recognize that they have been much more efficient with Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 5 as opposed to Steven Adams. So, yeah, Triple J definitely in play, and he's going to be, 3% owned tonight? Is leaving 1,100 too much? I don't think it's that bad. Honestly, just because you could play 3 of these 8 to 10K guys, and then all the value plays are relatively the same from 3.8K to 5.1K. They're all pretty much the same, so you could leave some money for sure. Favorite center for tonight? Definitely Bam Adebayo. How do I find the like thing? It's somewhere down below. Can post a DK Cash Core in the Patreon. Yeah, so with Patreon today, I ended up posting 2 core plays, but I'm telling you, just stick with the A tier plays. If you just stick with the S and A tier plays, there's only 10 or 11 players. If you make any combination of those 10 to 11 players, you're going to have a lineup that I'm going to feel very, very good about it. You loving Hart tonight? Yeah, I love Hart tonight. I think it's a great matchup. I think this game should stay competitive, and he's been playing super high 30s minutes without And now Devontae Graham is out. So even with Devontae Graham, he was playing big minutes like that. And without Devontae Graham, he takes on a larger offensive role, specifically facilitating. So, yeah, definitely like Josh Hart here. Any worries with Capella and Gobert and DK GPP? No, I think that's definitely fine. $114 lives. Holy shit. I wish I had that many subscribers. Thoughts on Kyle Anderson tonight? Yeah, Kyle Anderson is probably the biggest. He definitely is the biggest beneficiary to D'Anthony Melton and Dylan Brooks being out tonight. So him and Desmond Bane, just great plays. Wagner definitely in play. Giannis or Tatum. I prefer Tatum today. That game should play a lot closer. There's no really there's not as much blowout risk as there is in the other game. And, the Bucks are healthy now. The Celtics are not. They're going to be without Robert Williams and Jaylen Brown. Best value center in your opinion on DK? Probably going to be it's probably Mason Plumlee for me. Best value center. Mr. Baseballer 85. Thank you so much for the sub. That's the one sub that I was wanting. Appreciate that, man. Russell or Cat? I'll take the savings on Russell. Taylor thoughts. Ball, Bane, Herter, Hart, Bam, Suggs, Anderson, Lillard. I love that lineup. Gafford, yeah. So Gafford also in play. The thumb injury is pretty concerning to me. But before he injured his thumb, him and Harrell were splitting the 48 minutes, center minutes, pretty much right down the middle. So if he's going to play 24 minutes, he's definitely in play. It is a bad matchup, though. He'll get a lot of action against Bam Adebayo. Favorite pay up? Probably Damian Lillard or Jason Tatum. Haven't talked about Morant. I love him tonight. Yeah, I don't mind him. Dylan Brooks has had like a 30% usage rating since returning to the team this year. So without him on the court and Anthony Melton, who has a lot of usage coming off the bench, great spot. Subscribe, people. Yeah, I am here every single day, and it's beneficiary to you guys to hit the subscribe button, so then you are notified when I do go live and when I do post my videos. So Kuzma or Miles Turner. It's probably Miles Turner. I don't want either of those guys, so it's probably Turner though. Dame, Bane, Suggs, Tatum, Hart, Ross, Capella, Ingram for GPP. Absolutely love that. Toby Triple J or Tatum Plum. Oh man. Cash is probably Toby Triple J. But man, Mason Plumlee is going to go off one of these games. It's going to be irritating because I know the situation is there. I know the opportunity is there for him without PJ Washington, and they're going to need his size against Clint Capella, or else they're going to get bullied. So, one of these games is going to play 30-plus minutes and destroy. Terrence Ross or France? Probably France for me. Ball clearly is a good matchup and is consistent with GP play on DK. Yeah, I really like him for tournaments. Do you see blowout risk playing Tatum tonight? Yeah, for sure. There's definitely blowout risk with Tatum tonight. It's a 10-point game, but the Oklahoma City Thunder are pretty good at sticking around in these games. 7,900 at center on DK, Gobert, Drummond, Capella. If I had the money for Gobert, I'd just go with Gobert there. But point per dollar wise, I do like Capella, but since you have 7,900 left, I'll go with Gobert there. Trae Young or John Morant? I like Trae a little bit more. Young Ball game stack. Yeah, that's a nice game stack. Any thoughts on Nance? Yeah, tournament only option for me. Not really getting to all that much of it though. Didn't make my sheet. Although I did try, since we only had 2 S tier plays on the sheet today in Patreon, I condensed it as much as I possibly could. Russell and Val or Mitchell and Capella. Let's go with Russell and Val there. Do you prefer Ball or Young and DK? If you have the money to get up to LaMelo over Trae, I definitely prefer LaMelo. Beverly or Bane. I prefer Bane. Hayward or Slow-Mo. Who do you think picks up the start in place of Brooks? I think it's going to be Kyle Anderson. It's free to sub and probably the most valuable thing you would do all day. Damn, man. That's quite the praise. Thank you. Let's start a DFS team. Osmo 2.0. I'll stream every day. Streaming every day. You know, you guys keep coming back. It makes it a lot easier for me to have the motivation to keep coming back. Yeah, and the Celtics. I mean, dude, the Celtics have been pretty poor this year. Them and the Lakers have been the most disappointing teams. Although I could have seen the Lakers thing happening once they ended up signing Westbrook. And that's coming from a big Westbrook fan. Donovan or Beal. It's going to be Beal for me. What about Portis? I'm not on Portis today. What do you feel about the Din? Yeah, I'm not on Dinwiddie today. Very tough matchup. Thoughts on Bazley? Yeah, if the game stays competitive, he's going to play like 30, 32 minutes. I think him and Lou Dort are too cheap if the game stays competitive, but it's a 10-point spread, and so that fear is looming with the game ending up blowing out, and then I'm just really not that interested in cash games, at least. In tournaments, you can take the chance on Bazley and Lou Dort. Suggs, Bane, Herter, Anderson, Bam, Lillard, Hart, Ball, DKGP. Love it, Brandon. I love it. What do you think? Yeah, not on Portis. Richardson or Ross. Going to go with Ross. Portis or Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson. Trae Young and Tyus Jones. Or Bane and Edwards. Going to be Bane and Edwards. Best forward at 4.7K. Going to be Kyle Anderson. Carter Jr. or Jackson Jr. Probably Wendell Carter Jr. for me. Did you say Slow-Mo over Hayward? Yeah, I like Slow-Mo over Hayward. 5,200 for utility. Josh Hart. Thoughts on Collins? Not really on Collins. Smart or Dort? You know, with equal blowout risk, I'm probably going to side with Dort there. Because with Dennis Schroeder healthy, you know, Dort surprisingly is going to have a larger offensive role than Marcus Smart. Brogdon, Suggs, Herter, Hart, Bam, Ingram, Edwards, Wagner. Love it. Lillard, Smart, Suggs, Ross, Hart, Anderson, Collins, Tatum, Gobert, FanDuel single entry. Not really on Collins today. Don't mind him for the price, but... Or Smart. I might get off Smart in Collins, but I like the rest of that lineup. Kuzma or Hayward. Probably lean Hayward. Pretty good game environment. So Satoransky is officially starting for the Pelicans yet again. Hey, appreciate it, Brandon. Thanks you for showing up to the stream. Really means a lot. Dame, Suggs, Trey, Ross, Collins, Hart. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm just really not on Collins all that much today. LaMelo, Suggs, Hart, Brogdon, Anderson, Edwards, Tobias, Royce O'Neal, Capella on FanDuel. Yeah, so with Royce O'Neal, I mean, there's so many good plays in that range. I just really can't consider Royce. Pat Bev, Ingram, Ross, Harris, Plumlee, Lillard, Slow-Mo, Capella. I like it. Bojan or Kyle Anderson on FanDuel. Definitely Kyle Anderson. But I think that's good, Eric. Best value play center. Mason Plumlee for me. Tyrese Maxey tonight. Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to continue to play like super high minutes. I'm just really not on him, especially with Tybal back, because that eats into everybody's minutes amongst the guards and FanDuel. Beverly or Dort? It's going to be Beverly for me. Dort or Bane? Smart, Dort or Hart for me. Giddy up. Yeah, I mean, Giddy's a pretty interesting play if that game stays close. I mean, Giddy has been driving to the rack. Like, he's been way more aggressive than he was in his first couple of games for the Thunder. I mean, like, this guy's going to have a triple-double sooner rather than later. He has crazy upside at 6,200. It's just, I'm not getting there all that much. Okay, best favorite play on the slate. Best value on the slate, really. A tip for people posting their whole lineup: don't do that. Low ownership and keys to telling everyone who you're playing makes no sense. I don't think this stream moves the numbers all too much. The Heat have these same starters: Lowry, Robinson, Butler, Tucker, Adebayo. It's actually been a while since we've seen the full starting lineup for the Heat with Hero coming off the bench. Dort or Bane on DK. I like Bane. Who picks up start for Cole Anthony? Yeah, so I think it could possibly be Terrence Ross, or actually it's probably going to end up being Gary Harris, and then Terrence Ross will likely play more off the bench. Bane or Bev? I like Bane more. Do you think Tyus Jones will get more minutes tonight? No. Yeah, no problem, Conscious. Appreciate you being here. 9,200 utility. Going to be Damian Lillard for me. There's 209 people watching. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, 209 people is not that much on this slate. Thoughts on Suggs, Bane, Hayward, Triple J, Capella, Anthony Edwards, Hart, Robert Williams is out. Let me switch up this music, man, because I'm gonna get copyright. Dude, the best part about the music that I play, as soon as I say that, yeah, Gary Harris is actually starting. Okay. And off Chase Lillard is out. I put him in my flex. Would you prefer Fox, Mitchell, or Tobias? I prefer Tobias right there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really concerned. I'm not really worried about Damian Lillard sitting. But, it is always good to put your players that are in their last games into your utility spots just so you have more flexibility in case of a low outcome. Price picks, please. Yeah, so I'm still on the same price picks I was on earlier. The over Al Horford 31 fantasy points and the over Clint Capella 32 fantasy points. I've just been on those two plays all day. I think they're really strong plays. Really haven't budged off of them at all. I think Isha music's in. I forgot about that music. I gotta find that again. Is Josh says Richardson a decent play on FanDuel? Yeah. I mean, but at his price point, I mean, he's around Desmond Bane, Anderson, Beverly, Wagner, and I prefer all those guys to Josh Richardson. Richardson is a much better play on Draftkings than he is on FanDuel.
There's times I felt scared. There's times I felt humiliated. There's times I felt embarrassed. And ultimately, I just felt terrible.
Watch Suggs bust in its Ross season. I mean, that could definitely happen. We've seen Suggs bust plenty of times. Trae Young, Herter, or Beverly Edwards for DK Cash. Probably go with the Trae side there because there's not much of a difference between Herter and Beverly for me, and I like Trae Young considerably more than Edwards. Thoughts on Drummond tonight? Not really on Drummond. They have been very willing to play Georges Niang at the 5 and go small, so yeah, I'm off Drummond. Especially at that price. Watch Russ bust and your bankroll gone. Would not be surprised. 144 likes. Come on, guys. I know you guys can hit that like button. Would be really, really appreciative of it. And while you're down there, you might as well hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification thing, because I know a lot of you guys probably haven't done that yet because I don't ask. But if you guys could please just hit that bell notification button, should be by the like button, by the subscribe button, then you guys will be notified as soon as I go live or post my new videos that I do every single day, twice a day. Harris or stay on Ross? Definitely Ross. Definitely Ross. I was expecting Gary Harris to start. He's not a very good per minute producer at all. Terrence Ross, quite the opposite. He will chuck when he's out there. I can't figure out DK sheet. One more lock. Damian Lillard. Bryson Tybar, thank you so much for the subscription. If I butcher your name, I apologize. Top 2 DK spin-ups going to be Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard for me. You find game stacks with a couple one-offs, a good tourney strat. I mean, if you're aiming for games to go to overtime, then yeah. I mean, a good tournament strategy is that when a game is very, very chalky, we saw a couple situations yesterday, like with the Golden State Warriors, like everybody played all these Warriors players, but they didn't play the opposite side. The game ended up being a really high-scoring back-and-forth game, but they didn't have any players on the other side. So if there is ever a game that's going to be very, very chalky today, so like Memphis today, so Desmond Bane and Kyle Anderson should be very chalky on the Memphis side. In order for them to pay off their price tags, obviously they need to get their full complement of minutes, and for them to get their full complement of minutes, that game needs to stay close. And if the game is high-scoring, it takes two teams to tango, so maybe bring it back with the Minnesota Timberwolves. In cash games, I don't think you need to, but in tournaments, maybe bring it back with D'Angelo Russell or Anthony Edwards or Karl Anthony Towns or Patrick Beverley. Don't play Tatum. Man, dude, you just got all the takes today, don't you? First man on Pluto. Favorite play on the slate? Probably Bam Adebayo, given how short the center option is today, or Jalen Suggs. Desmond Bane is up there as well. John Collins or Capella. Capella for sure. Jaws, Suggs, LaMelo, Ross, Hart, Triple J, Robinson, Earl, Trey for GBP. I'm not on Robinson Earl anymore with him coming off the bench. That is just crazy, bro. Interesting character you are. Lillard, Anderson, or LaMelo and Wagner. Wow, that's close. I probably lean the LaMelo side there. Valanciunas is a fine play on DraftKings, but where I'm getting my action on him is over on FanDuel. Do you like any unders today for price picks? Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie under Miami. Yeah, so I actually was looking at some of the unders, and I think that is a pretty interesting under with Spencer Dinwiddie. I think that, they're really taking it easy with his minutes this year, coming back from a pretty serious injury last year. So I don't mind the under on him. Is he even on here anymore? If I can find him. Actually, a good under is the under Montrezl Harrell. With Gafford back, before Gafford got injured a couple games ago, which was just a thumb injury. So I think that his conditioning should be fine with it only being a couple days absence. They were splitting 24 minutes apiece, playing all 48 center minutes. So if Montrezl is only playing 24 minutes, I would take the bet on the under 30 fantasy points, especially in a tough matchup against the Miami Heat. 4.6K utility, Bane, Anderson, or Plumlee. I would rank it Anderson, Bane. Oh, man, that's tough. Actually, I would rank it Bane, Anderson, then Plumlee. I mean, Bane and Anderson are really, really toss-ups for me. But I would prefer Bane. Please fade Ross and then send the head-to-head my way. Yeah, I mean, Terrence Ross is a very good play to me today. Beverly or Anderson already got Bane. Yeah, I probably still play Anderson. I think that they both play 30-plus minutes and very good per-minute producers. Bam and Mitchell or Capella and Ja. Let's go with Capella and Ja there, actually. Thoughts on Herter? Yeah, I mean, Herter has, ever since he started, he's played 30-plus minutes without DeAndre Hunter. The only game he didn't was when he got injured and didn't play the second half. Utility under 5,300, going to be Josh Hart for me. Any Rudy Gay? No Rudy Gay for me until the minutes come up a little bit more. He was on a minutes restriction, so maybe we see a couple extra minutes from him. But, man, he has been very active coming off the bench. Him and Clarkson are going to continue to run that second unit. No, I don't like Gary Harris. I mean, I was fully expecting him to start today, so him starting is no surprise to me. Terrence Ross is a far better play than Gary Harris. Gordon Hayward and cash lineup. Not on Gordon Hayward. Thoughts on Gobert? Not really on Gobert. Favorite center, DK. Bam Adebayo for sure. Damian Lillard 41 seems a little bit low still. He's been priced at this like all year too. The Hornets will start LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, and Mason Plumlee per usual. And as expected, Morant or Butler going to be Morant. Hey Taylor, your top two power forward on FanDuel, Bam Adebayo and Al Horford. Wendell Carter Jr. is right behind those two though. Adebayo or Gobert. Adebayo, Lillard, Russell, Suggs, Ross, Hart, Anderson, Tatum, Harris, Capella. You like that better? Yeah, I love that lineup. I think I might have missed it. Any Rudy Gay? Yeah, no Rudy Gay for me today. Morant or Ball? Definitely Ball. Do you like Dort today? I mean, if you think that game stays close, it's a 10-point spread. Yeah, I do like Dort. The volume has been there. He kind of came back down to earth last game in terms of efficiency. But if the game is close, the volume should continue to be there. So, yeah, I don't mind Dort. More of a tournament option for me. Herter or T-Ross FanDuel? I like Herter more. He's way safer. Terrence Ross has much higher upside, though. Much higher upside. What about John? Not on John Collins. Favorite utility, 6.5K or lower on DK? Yeah, this is just like such an ugly range on Draftkings. I mean, I really don't like anybody. It's probably Jaren Jackson Jr. at 6,400, but not the biggest fan of that area. Morant or Cat? Going to be Morant for me. Have you talked about Nance Jr.? They like him at the 5 when they go small, and he's been decent. Yeah, he's been getting a lot of their... Dude, Yusuf Nurkic has just been in hell. I'm used to him playing limited minutes, but man, like this year he's playing like 21, 22 minutes a game, and it's just absolutely abysmal for him. This game could end up going small against the Sixers because the Sixers have been very willing to play Georges Niang at the 5 over Andre Drummond, even when closing out the games. So this game could go small, and Larry Nance he has center eligibility. So you could see Nance get some extended run here at 3,200. I'm not expecting this kind of game, but if they continue to play small in the Sixers match, closing this game, he's a sneaky option for sure. Do you like RJ Hampton? No, not really. Don't sleep on Triple J and up-tempo without Brooks. Yeah, absolutely. I think Triple J has a good chance to play more minutes than Steven Adams here at the 5. Best DK utility 8,100 or under. Refresh my memory with who's here. Yeah, Tobias Harris. Hornets Atlanta game stack. Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, you could. But the only guy from the Hornets that I really like is LaMelo Ball and Mason Plumlee. Maybe bring it back with Trae Young, Clint Capella, Kevin Huerter. That kind of game stack. Harris, Brogdon, or Ingram. It's going to be Ingram for me. Thoughts on PJ Tucker? Not really on him with the team being fully healthy. Bam and Anderson or Hart and Tobias. Going to be Bam and Anderson for me because I like Bam quite a bit more than Tobias. And then Anderson and Hart are pretty much the same for me personally. DK utility under 7.4K. I'm going to take Clint Capella right there. Suggs, Bane, Hart, Tatum, Capella, Ball, Herter, and Dort. Like that, Paul. Nance McKillen. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's 4 Memphis guys, too many. I mean, they are very short-handed, especially when it comes to usage with no Brooks and D'Anthony Melton. Like, those are 2 of their highest projected shooters on the slate. So, that I'm trying to think of who you have. You probably have Ja. Do you have Ja, Triple J, Kyle Anderson, and Desmond Bane? I would imagine that's what you probably have. I think that's fine. This music makes me want to hug my woman. Pretty chill stream, man. Does Smart get the Dort treatment tonight? Nah, I think Dort will probably be chasing around Dennis Schroeder. I mean, Dort is no joke defensively. That's why I'm really not considering Schroeder all that much over on Draftkings. On FanDuel, though, Schroeder's $5,800. Like, that is a crazy price tag for him. Ross and Suggs, same lineup. Yeah, that's definitely fine. I mean, their minutes don't really overlap. Or, I mean, they don't, like, eat into each other with Cole Anthony being out. Does Smart get the Suggs or Herter? Suggs for me. Hart, Ingram, and Val. Too many on FanDuel? Nope, I think that's completely fine. They run a super tight rotation, and you know where the production is coming from, and Devontae Graham's out. So, I mean, there's a lot of positive to the Pelicans today. Dort or Powell? Dort. It's a lot closer than you would imagine, though. Do you like Wagner? Yeah, Wagner is a very good play. I mean, Cole Anthony led this team in usage by a pretty considerable amount, so that's a lot of usage to go around.
Happiness.
And, the Bucks are good defensively in the paint. Not so much out on the perimeter, so, that benefits Wagner more than it does, their other main pieces,
It's a billboard on the
like
side
Wendell
of the
Carter
road
Jr. and Mo Bamba.
screams
Kyle Anderson or Hart on FanDuel. Hart if you have the money. Do you like Wagner? I just went over that. Yeah. Kyle Anderson. Yep. Kyle Anderson, one of the best plays on the slate. Triple J, Bane, Anderson. Better to run it back with Cat, throw in Jaw. If you're playing cash games, I don't think you need to run it back with anybody. If you were playing GPPs, you could just play Jaw. I think it's fine. Thoughts on Gafford to now? Yeah, Gafford's interesting. I mean, like I said it a couple times already, but like before the injury, him and Harrell were pretty much evenly splitting all 48 of those center minutes, and it was just like a minor thumb injury, and he was only gone for a couple days, so I think his conditioning should be there. Not a good matchup for him, but he is too cheap. I will admit that he is too cheap. McCollum a good play? I'm not really on McCollum when the team is healthy. Whenever the Trailblazers are healthy, I pretty much just play Damian Lillard. Suggs or Bane. I like Bane more than Suggs in a vacuum, but point per dollar wise, I like Suggs quite a bit more. KCP, not really on KCP. I mean, I don't even play KCP when like Beal or Dinwiddie's out, so now that they're fully healthy, there's no way in hell I'm playing KCP. Bane or Kyle Anderson. I like Bane slightly more, but I'm definitely okay with playing both. You think Hart will be 50% owned or higher on DK and is basically an okay pivot in GPPs? I know Hart's balling, but every time I play him, he goes under 20. Yeah, so, I mean, he should be very high owned because he was decently owned last slate and he absolutely murdered, so those guys are all going to play him. The people who didn't play him, who saw that he murdered, are going to play him. And then now that Devontae Graham is out again, yeah, I mean, he's going to gain some ownership today. Bazley is an interesting tournament pivot. You know, if I were to pivot, I would just pivot off to like a cheaper guy like Wagner or something and just like leave some salary if you want to be really different. KCP or Tybal, I'd honestly take my chances with Tybal there. Is Nance a good value? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. I'm personally not getting to him all that much, but I think he's a fine play. Man, I am sweating. If you guys saw my setup, I have these lights just glaring at my face for this hour stream, and it gets so toasty in here. And it's like 67 degrees in my apartment, and I'm like sweating. 6,900 Ford. Well, this is an ugly spot. There was one play here I like, though. Oh, yeah, Wendell Carter Jr. at 6,600. I like quite a bit. Considerably more than everybody else in this price range. Ross and Suggs on FanDuel or Bane and Anderson. I would rather have Bane and Anderson there. Tybal's returning. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. You know, Danny Green, when he first returned, they gave him like 30 minutes off the rip. I think that's likely what we get from Tybal today, around 30 minutes. So he's not the worst play. He's not a good per minute producer at all. So I'm not playing him. I'm not really messing around with any of it. Keegan, I just got your message from Patreon. I really appreciate that, man. Hope you have a good night. Wagner might make my line then. Thanks, bro. Yeah, no problem, man. Mitchell Robinson is questionable to return Saturday. What did I miss? Why Bane? I mean, Bane, like, even if Dylan Brooks and D'Anthony Melton were healthy, he would still be an amazing play. There's no reason he should be $4,500. The only reason that he didn't get minutes here, okay, so this game, he was in foul trouble. This was, like, admittedly, like, just a horrible game for him. And so he played 21 minutes. He fouled out. He was in foul trouble the entire game. Shot 1 for 10. Turned the ball over. Not a good game for him. But in this game, it blew out. He was on pace to play over 30 minutes. In this game, he played 25 minutes. He was on pace to play over 30 minutes. Lost a couple of minutes in this game as well. He should have played 31 minutes. But so it's a close matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dylan Brooks being back does not affect Desmond Bane's minutes at all. It affects D'Anthony Melton's minutes. So his minutes are just even more secure now in that 30 to 32 minute range, which I lean more towards 32 minutes, especially with this game likely to be competitive. Only a 2.5 point spread. And you take Dylan Brooks and D'Anthony Melton off the lineup today, or out of the lineup today, you know, that's taking away a ton of usage. So Desmond Bane should shoot even more, and he's been shooting well this year. So I really like the likes of Desmond Bane today, and I'm expecting Kyle Anderson to start in his place, in Brooks' place. What are your must-have plays for tonight? Probably like Desmond Bane, Anderson, Suggs, Bam Adebayo. LaMelo or Trey. LaMelo if you have the money. Less than $7,700 utility play. Probably D'Angelo Russell right there. Maxey or John Collins. John Collins. Bane or Beverly. Bane for me. Butler if I got the money. Yeah, Butler's not a bad play. It's just that they're completely healthy, and he's kind of priced to the point where, they've constantly been missing either Lowry, Adebayo, Butler himself, or Tyler Hero. And so the prices are pretty inflated on all the Miami Heat guys. I think Bam Adebayo is priced appropriately. Jimmy Butler a little bit overpriced, so I'm not really considering Butler. Not that he's not a good play in a vacuum, because, it's a great matchup against the Wizards. The game should play close, so Butler's fine. Just not really moving the needle for me all that much. Thoughts on Kevin Huerter? Yeah, Kevin Huerter should play 30-plus minutes. He's only $3,800. He should be a lot more expensive than he is. 163 likes. Sheesh. We might be able to get to 200 likes. That actually is quite the stretch. I have like 4 more minutes in here. So if you guys enjoyed the stream at all, found it informative, helps you make your lineups, I would really appreciate it if you guys could drop a like. Let's try to get to 200. I don't think I've actually ever gotten to 200 likes on a live stream, so I would really appreciate that, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe and notification bell down below while you're doing that. Will Rudy Gay get playing time? Yeah, Rudy Gay debuted last game. Ended up playing like 15 minutes, I believe. He played 18 minutes, sorry. But they already went into it saying he was on a minutes restriction, so maybe that comes up a little bit more. And he plays like 22, 24 minutes. Obviously, he shot 7 for 8, 5 for 6 from 3. Don't expect this. Expect this kind of volume, but that kind of efficiency is really hard to come by. Should be able to beat up the backup unit of the Sacramento Kings. You could do worse at 3,500 than Rudy Gay, especially if his minutes come up a little bit. I'm not really getting to all that much of him today because there are so many good value plays that's strictly a secondary play for me. 9,500 left utility. Trae Young's 95, right? So it's probably Trae. Yeah, Trae Young at 95. Bane and Anderson or Suggs and Huerter. Gonna be Bane and Anderson for me. Not on Reddish. Horford on FanDuel. Love Al Horford on FanDuel. Schroeder return game, expecting something big. Yep, I like Schroeder a ton on FanDuel. I don't really like his price on Draftkings, even though he has shown elite upside so far this year. Just last game was crazy. Not on Tyus Jones today. I don't think he gets that much more playing time today. Suggs, Mitchell, Tatum, or D'Lo, Beal, and Hart. Gonna be the... oh, man. That's actually a lot closer. Probably the Suggs side. We got this like and win all the money, Carmen. Let's get it. Prize Picks. Yeah, Prize Picks, the same play as always today. It's been the same since I saw it earlier. When I looked at the slate, it like stood out to me and the numbers haven't moved. So it's the over Clint Capella 32 fantasy points, and I'm pairing that with the Al Horford over 31 fantasy points. Love the overs on both of those guys. It hasn't moved at all, so I really like that. You like Josh Hart? Love Josh Hart. Favorite center on slate? Bam. Yeah, Bam is my favorite center by far today. Suggs versus Harda. It's going to be Suggs for me. Bamba, Harrell, or Turner. Going to be Bamba for me. Kyrie Lewis Jr. for the win. Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting play without Devontae Graham. You know, he played 23 minutes last game coming off the bench, and he was very, very active when he was out there. He's been very active coming off the bench all year. So, yeah, Lewis, he's the bare minimum. Could definitely pay off that price tag. If you could find a couple hundred more, you could get up to Terrence Ross, who I prefer, but, you know, Lewis going to be under-owned for sure. Numbers did move, did it? Yeah, I mean, I talked about it a little more extensively in this stream, so I wouldn't be surprised if they moved a little bit more. Because there should have been a lot of action coming in on both of those after I talked about my video, Patreon, and then now this. If I can find it. Horford's sitting at 33 now. Clint's sitting at 34.5. Yeah, I probably wouldn't touch that anymore. There wasn't really much more I was that interested in. You know, actually, I don't mind the over Desmond Bane 25, and you compare that with the Jalen Suggs 25 fantasy points. I'm trying to see if anything else really sticks out to me right now. It's probably those two guys, Suggs and Desmond Bane, over their fantasy points. Oh, wow. It is lock time. All right, guys. It is lock time. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm here every single day. Tomorrow's NFL Sunday. NFL Sunday is the best day to play NBA DFS because everybody's focused on NFL. They're losing their ass all day. Then it comes NBA time, and they're ready to make some money back, or at least try. And so they're making a half-ass attempt at doing that while we're spending all of our time focusing on NBA. So let's take those kids lunch money tomorrow. But really appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to subscribe, like the video on your way out. Again, here every single day, Saturday, Sunday, holidays, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to be here. So my video will be out in the morning. My live stream will be an hour before lock tomorrow. Appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck tonight. See you guys at the top of the leaderboards.